Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night. It's GT3 night as we have the return of the Galebest and Clark St James Tanso Racing Group GT3 Championship here for season number 7. And, well, the first round of the championship, located just 70 miles south of Orlando in central South Florida, Sebring International Raceway hosts round 1 of a scheduled 8-round calendar over the next 8 weeks. And you join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt in the booth tonight. We've got our contingent of pros, contingent of AMs, and JP, looking back at last season, the championships went down to the wire as Jared Love picked up the title in AM, and it was Harry Hartley-Price who picked up the title in the pro category. But a new start, clean slate, different points, 9 different manufacturers in GT3 represented. Sebring's going to kick things off with some fireworks, I'm sure.
If you don't know Sebring by now, you're never going to know it. You've taken part here in endurance races, you've taken part here in multiple probably league races and special events and God knows what else. So if you don't know this by now, you're never going to learn it. But point system will be 40 for first points, then 36 for second, 30 for third, then 27, 24, 21. And then it goes 18, 16, 14, 12, 10 down to 11th, then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down to 25th. And that's class points. So both classes will score them points as well. So the winner of AMS gets 40, the winner of Pros gets 40, and that's how it's going to be done here as well. But this is going to be very, very interesting as well. Sebring is one of them circuits that not everybody loves, believe it or not. Our very own Mr. Ewan O'Leary despises Sebring to beyond recognition that he absolutely hates coming here. But I think I don't mind Sebring at all. I think it's a great circuit.
I'd have to agree with you on that. I mean, you've got a lot of surface change, so different tarmac composition, a lot of curbing, a lot of technicality around this circuit that was first opened on New Year's Eve 1950. Spans a length of 3.741 miles, 17 turns in all, and with some fantastic names to boot, such as the Le Mans Curve, Ullman Straight, Sunset Bend, Genderbean, Flying Fortress, Cunningham Corner, et al. We're underway with the first qualifying session. It's a 15-minute open session for all competitors. The brands that are represented here tonight with a total of, I think, 31 cars to kickstart the season. Corvette, Acura, Porsche, Lamborghini, Ford, McLaren, BMW and Mercedes. And it's a who's who of brands that would be featured in championships such as the GT World Challenge Americas and Europe, powered by AWS. But this particular circuit will be raced around for 45 minutes. And each of the drivers will be limited to a maximum amount of 50% fuel. And the drivers must, like in a normal GT3 championship, stay in the same car all week long. Now, the calendar is not, we're waiting for week 5 onwards to be confirmed, but the first 4 tracks here at Sebring. Next week we go to Imola. Week 3 on the 2nd of June we head to Monza, and then the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit to reach the halfway point of the championship for season 7. And then as soon as we have the confirmed information from the organisers, we'll be able to tell you what the remaining 4 weeks will be and where the season finale will be held. There will be no 90-minute Le Mans adventure like we had at the end of season number 6. But 31 cars on the grid, 24 out on circuit that have already set a lap time. And at the moment, Michael Gray in the 118 Corvette has put in the fastest lap time of anybody, a 1:59.481. Harry Hartley-Price, the defending pro champion, doing Hartley-Price things in Porsche. Second at the moment, 4 tenths back. Matt Hoyland, the first of the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evos, rounds out the top 3. Then we've got Gene McLuhan, and then Ben Altria in the leading Acura. Tim Cullimore in the leading Mustang rounds out the top 6 ahead of Glenn Abelard in the first of the Audis. Joseph Sparra, Connor Pink returns, the vice champion in season 6 for the AM class. He's moved up to pro ahead of Peter Duke in the 177. They ran at the top 10, covered by 1.3 seconds. Of course, traffic management is going to be very, very crucial not just in qualifying, but especially in the race.
Yeah, that's the thing as well here. You know, you've just got to be aware that although qualifying, yes, you want to qualify as close up to the front as you possibly can, right? That's obvious. Most people do. If you don't, well, you're probably doing the likes of NASCAR or something like that, that basically doesn't really require you to be that close up the front, because let's face it, when you're driving around Dega, I don't think it really is going to matter where you're going to end up. Somewhere you're probably going to end up in a wall, so it isn't really going to matter. But here is a little bit more important, but it's that somebody said that I was broadcasting earlier, and it doesn't matter where you are on the first lap, it only matters where you are on the last lap. And that, for me, is triggering that same response to what we normally say is you can't win it on lap 1, but you can lose it on lap 1. And that kind of runs side by side, because let's face it, it doesn't really matter where you are on lap 1, as long as you are towards the front on the final lap. So I think that kind of sums it up for me.
Yeah, and there's another phrase you can actually add to that. To finish first you must finish. So we could throw a multitude of statements of what we've just been discussing, but some great liveries, and great to see a few people deciding to go with the Raging Bull of Sant'Agata Bolognese. This is Matt Hoyland in the number 11, with an I rating of 2,264. So what is the scheme with regards to the pros and the AMs? Minimum rating for pros must be 1,500 I rating and above. And then for the AMs, it's 1,500 I rating and below. Of course, Sunset Bend could catch a few people out coming down the Ullman Straight. And that's very bumpy. Of course, there's that little camber, that little rise on the left-hand side through the final exit point. As there is the 111 of Harry Gaylor, who's rounding out the top 8 at the moment. Top 10, actually top 12, rounded out by Peter Duke in the 177 Acura NSX GT3, covered by just under 1.1 seconds, so very, very close at the moment. James Moore in the number 17 BMW M4 is leading the AM classification. He's about a tenth ahead of Tim Walters, who's back in the championship in the 67 Porsche. Daniel Poole in the 82 Porsche rounds out the top 3, so in that class they're covered by just over a tenth and a half. Harry Severn is the penultimate placed pro driver, all the way down to 21st. So we've got 19 pros, the rest of the field comprised of AMs, so we're looking at 19 pro, 12 AM. Callum Milam yet to register a lap time. Sam Berry in the 129 Ford has already had his first lap time disallowed, as we're coming down to the final 3.5 minutes of this qualifying session of wonderful array of cars and wonderful array of different powertrain solutions, from V6 turbo mid-mounted to 5.2 litre naturally aspirated V10, and all, of course, the thunderous 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V8 for the Mercedes. Mark Kent is the leading Mercedes at the moment, down in 14th overall in the 94, but that car will definitely have some good race pace. There is the returning Connor Pink in the 03 McLaren, going with a good old Golf livery from back in the day. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, his partner Sophie took part in the mums and wives race from OGRL on Sunday. If you've not watched that, go back and watch it. It is absolutely awesome. And she picked a KFC livery just because she liked the look of it as well. But that was absolutely amazing. There is talk of doing a series once a month where they do an hour race with their partners, and they have to driver swap with the partners. So obviously we're not talking that each partner needs their own account. Basically what we're saying is hopping in the seat and out of the seat. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the idea, because we're not expecting wives to have their own accounts, but that's a talk about it as well. But if you haven't watched the OGRL Mums and Wives, go and watch it. It was absolutely incredible. Bradley Tidwell's mum, oh my God, she was such a blast to have a chat to in the interview room after. It was absolutely awesome. And she got 2 third places and has been testing all through the week as well. She was taking it dead serious and finished 2 thirds, where Dan Wareham's partner Rachel literally got 3 out of 3 and absolutely annihilated everyone. It was just Absolutely incredible. It was such a laugh. There was no damage on. It was chaotic as well. We had a Jurassic Park livery GR86 going around just eating everybody by race freeze and just literally giving up. We nicknamed her the Raptor because she was just so hungry for whatever car tried to go past her as well. That was Miranda Stuntsman, Charlie's wife. Oh, it was awesome.
Well, as long as Ford don't get wind of it, because they could throw a trademark copyright infringement on that. The Raptor.
Oh, dude, GR86, the gays are missing a trick there with the mums and wives, because it went off. I think we had like 16, I think, or 12 of them or something, and it was just absolutely amazing. Everybody, all of them we spoke to after, had such a great laugh being in the car. So there is talk of a series. So if you do want to get yourself involved, hit me up on DMs on Discord or send me a message here on YouTube and we can arrange it. I know they're all talk at the moment about how they're going to do it. You know, they've got to set their own Discord up and all sorts of things at the moment. But there's a lot of talk about it at the moment. But Sophie had a great time, and Stacey Dukowski, Brian Dukowski's wife, she had an absolutely awesome time. And Wilma Shaw, best interview ever. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it back. She was absolutely made up. It was such a good time here as well. But these guys now are here on the GT3s, and the likes of Kit Connor's been promoted up to pros as well from the AM series. Jared Love, last season's champion, Alex, is also going to be promoted up into pros as well. I'm going to presume he's going to be here at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
But they had such a great battle that I think this season is really going to show the men from the boys.
Well, the qualifying session comes to an end here at Sebring International Raceway, and Sam Berry pops up into 13th position on his third lap in qualifying. Callum Milam is the only one out of the 31 drivers that has yet to, well, it hasn't even set a lap time in the 78 Porsche. So whether Callum might have had issues of some kind, or he's decided, I'm going to go top gear from the rear and see what happens in front. Normally turn one here on lap one at Sebring can cause a little bit of chaos. Michael Gray at the moment is the fastest driver out there, 1:59.481. Ben Altria in the 504 Acura, and Matt Hoyland in the number 11 Lamborghini round out the top three. Here comes Tim Walters from Scotland in the 1:55. Does he improve? Yes, he does. He goes ahead of Mark Kent and rounds out the top 15 in the BMW M4 GT3 and manages to nearly plant. Yeah, power sliding a la Munich Drift. He's probably trying to go to M-Town on that one. As the checker flag waves, Kent comes across the line. Does he improve? No. Stays 16th. And here is James Moore in the number 17, second in the AMS at the moment, running 20th overall here in qualifying. Catches the bumps on the deep inside, close to the wall on the right, on the inside of Sunset Bend. He comes across the line. Is he going to improve? Yes, that is AM class pole position in 17th on a 2:01.273. Harry Hartley Price, the defending overall champion from last season, is looking to, well, he's not improved. Mark Wesley in the 88 Beamer. Now, has he improved? That was his best attempt. Stays 25th overall, but that puts him 6th in the AM classification. And he's going to pull it to the side. And that is going to conclude qualifying for round 1 of season 7 for the Galebest and Clark St. James GT3. So it's going to be a 45-minute race, maximum allowed fuel limit of 50% of the fuel tanks in each respective car. 31 cars set to go on the grid as we hit the end of the session, and it is going to be Michael Gray that picks up the first pole position of season number 7. So Corvette doing the business on home soil, and well, it's going to be very shortly that we're going to be moving on to the race. And it is going to be a 2x2 rolling start. So as soon as the session advances, we will then have everyone starting to grid up. It will be a short formation lap before we get things going. Normally probably be round about sort of Genderbean or Le Mans curve. So here's your grid for race 1, season 7 here at Sebring. Michael Gray starts on pole position in the 118 Corvette. He's got the 504 Acura alongside of Ben Altria. Then Matt Hoyland and Harry Hartley-Price, the defending overall champion from last season, rounds out row 2. Jean McLuhan and Andy White round out row 3. Harry Gaylor and Tim Cullimore round out row 4. Completing the top 10, it's the number 130 Ford Mustang of Stephen Donnelly and the 127 Audi R8 of Glenn Ablard. Joe Sparrow and Peter Duke round out row 6. Sam Berry and Connor Pink, row 7. Tim Walters and Mark Kent round out the top 8 rows. James Moore, am pole sitter in 17th, has Ron McKee alongside on row number 9. Completing the top 20, it's Sergio Cabral from Portugal, and from Ireland, Nathan Healy in the BMW and the Mercedes. And all Porsche row 11 with Tim Walters and Daniel Poole. So there are 2 Tim Walters, 1 running in Pro, 1 running in Am. Harry 7 joined by Mike Walters on row 12 with Mark Wesley, Jay Rooney, Chris Haynes, Sean Clark, Joseph Lopez, Steve Trippier and Callum Milam. That is your 31 strong grid. So the drivers will have to do as much as they can. Jared Love, wow. He's on holiday at the moment and he's watching. Gutted to be missing the race, sat watching with a cold beer on holiday. Well, Jared, we look forward to seeing you back in action and with the big boys. So you're going to have to get your big boy pants on for your adventure in the pros, my friend. But he was absolutely brilliant, absolutely stellar, especially when he nearly could have taken the win at the final round of Season 6. But the Ford Mustang pace car is there. What a sight that is. 31 cars to start off Season 7 here for TRG GT3 action on Monday nights.
Yeah, great to see. Great to see an increase in the cars as well. Hopefully we'll be able to keep most of these for this season. So going to look forward to this one. But they're coming round the final corner already, getting ready to go in through Sunset.
So Corvette on home soil leads the way. And it's going to be Acura alongside. Gray versus Altria. Hoyland, Hartley-Price, McLuhan, White, Gaylor, et al. Now come into the acceleration zone here at Sebring. The red lights are on. Gray's already lit up the right pedal to the floor. We're green, we're underway here for Season 7. Gray takes the early advantage. They're nearly fanning out to 5 wide into turn 1. Early doors, some taking one of the cars nearly had a little bit of a glancing blow on the inside of turn number 1. And there's going to be drama. Oh dear, Skittles already. And we've only hit turn number 5. Well, we've just gone past turn 2. Oh, dearie me, into 3, 4 and 5. That was Skittles. Connor Pink tumbles right down to the bottom. Sergio Cabral is also off track. But at the moment, Michael Gray for Full Tilt Motorsport in the 118 Chevy Corvette C8R leads the way ahead of the Acura of Altria, and then the Lamborghini of Matt Hoyland with Harry Hartley-Price round out your top 4. But a very big incident on the opening corner. Let's have a look back at this. Connor Pink to the outside on the gravel.
Oh, the car disappears. Nobody knows he's there.
When he gets punted from behind us, Connor.
Yeah, Glenn Ablard. I'm not going to be able to pick up on him, but he literally disappears. Watch the car to the left jolt out here. So he's going to get kicked out, and then he disappears. Then he comes back again. And
I think that might have been
inside Duke's car at one point, Gleb Ablard.
So he was the one that blinked. So Andy White is the leading Audi at the moment, currently running in P8. But good start from Michael Gray. He's definitely made sure that a little bit of a wiggle there coming out of Lamar, heading down Almond Straight. But wonderful amounts of colour on this grid as they head down towards Sunset Bend. Bumpy, undulating. You've got to get it right through here, and you've got to make sure that you stay as far away from the walls as possible, whether it be on the inside or the outside, especially on the exit. You can be a little bit cautious and throw caution to the wind on the outside of Sunset Bend. We're running on board with HB Racing's Harry Hartley-Price. They're running P4, about 3.5 tenths of a second behind Matt Hoyland in the number 11 Lamborghini just in front as we go on to lap number 2. And it just goes to show, well, Luis Martinez, who was second in the championship in the XBD Ferrari 296 last year, says...
there was an off there. Something went on with Glenn Ablard. Something had gone on somewhere with somebody there, because he almost, by the sounds of it, there was squeal or the tyres. Did he end up having some form of, what did he do? Because he sounded like he caught something, Mr. Ablard. Oh, yeah, there you go. Big old snap in that car, and manages to hold it, but yeah, it's going to be tough at the moment. Glenn's got to be careful with his old internet as well. You know, we can't help it. He doesn't know it's happening. You know, they've just got to make sure that there's you know, they can try and minimize the problem, which isn't always easy. Luis Martinez, good luck to everyone this season. Really looking good, this grid. It should be. Get yourself involved, Luis. Come on, where are you, son?
You know what, I have to say, Joe Sparrow in 13th position, focus on his livery. I think I saw a Days of Thunder sort of tribute there. It's got the old mellow yellow style colours. No, it's Haribo.
But yeah, it has got them.
It's close. It's close, but
it has got them.
It is a real life livery, though. It has been shown on the NLS, the Nürburgring Langstrecken Serie in years past, when it was known as the VLN. As there is Sean Clark switching from Porsche to McLaren. Joseph Lopez was with us last season. Goldschmidt dentures. God, we've not even got 5 minutes into the race and already tripping over the tongue. Third last season in the AMS, and he's currently running behind Mike Walters, as Chris Haynes has brought back Rexy for season 7. Nice job there. Well played, Chris. Love that livery on that Porsche. And then got the 2 BMWs of Mark Wesley and Jay Rooney battling away for 4th position in the AM classification. And was Joseph running with that livery last season, I think, with the Zoomies? I think he was.
Yeah, but the Zoomies is normally something you associate with an animal. Normally we say it when we got my dog going absolutely nuts. But I can't quite see what the dog is on the side. That's why I was kind of moving around his car. Let me see if I can do some fancy camera. Oh, I can. Check me out. Oh no, it's not a dash hound or anything like that. It looks like a terrier of scruffies of some sort, doesn't it?
Like a Westie of some description, or a Yorkshire Terrier.
There you go. Let's have a zoom out as well. Look, camera trickery while we're live here. It does look something.
Zoom in on the zoomies.
Yeah, zooming in on the zoomies. It does look something like that as well. So we'll come away from that, but it is some sort of terrier of some sort taking place on the front of that side of that car.
Right.
100% dash hound, said Natasha. Yeah, but it's not a dash hound. It looks like a scruff of some sort.
Well, if it was a Dachshund, then there would be a longer snout for a start and a shorter body.
And a full bark going on as well, because my dog don't
shut up. Yeah, big old bark.
Yeah, it barks at everything other than what it actually was supposed to bark at, which is generally not. He just barks at everything. Let's be real about it.
Any random movement or noise, if it's a Dachshund or a toy poodle, they both have bigger barks than their bites.
Yeah, he tries to catch a bird 50 feet in the air and thinks he's going to get it. It's a scruffy Dachshund. Oh, I don't know if it is, Sean. Is it actually?
It looks.
Sean, you know Joseph. So is it a scruffy Dachshund? If it is, that is. Well, needs an haircut.
needs to go to the groomers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meantime, speaking of which, concentrating on the front of the field, Michael Gray is now 1.7 seconds ahead of the Acura of Ben Altria. And then Matt Hoyland and Harry Hartley-Price, they are getting very, very close, with the Porsche not doing Porsche things as we've seen. Nice new livery for Harry this season, very much different to what we had last time out.
I can tell you why that is. He works for his family, which run Galebest, or however you say it. So that's what that is. That's the Galebest. Is it Galebest? Galebest liveries?
Galebest. We'll get
whatever.
Harry to confirm that.
Yeah, so it's Galebest, I think it is. And he works for them, and it's a family-run company. So that's why he's got the full car, because obviously he's one of the sponsors of this event.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's really, really good to see that we've got so much more variety in terms of the manufacturers this time around, like having 9 different manufacturers represented. And you get it. We're seeing, as we did last time in season 6, we're seeing these clump of battles. And here's Peter Duke. He's made up one place. Biggest gainer at the moment so far, Rob McKee in the 117 BMW, just behind him with the bright. Look at those for radioactive purple alloys on that baby. You can't miss that.
No. You definitely know who's coming there, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Can't really. I think I love. Do you know what? I think we should have a livery competition as well, because some of them are absolutely amazing, and I think that some of them are you know, should just be shouted out. But Steve Trippier, get on with it. Give us something a bit more than basic. Ooh. Saying that, Glenn Ablard and Robert McKee have just gone and had some form of ta-ta-ta.
Well, it may have been instigated by Joe Sparrow and the Haribo machine, possibly.
He goes around on his own. Bang!
Oh, he gets T-boned.
Yeah. He goes around completely on his own there. And Ablard, unfortunately, was in it.
Had nowhere to go. Oh!
Is that a Porsche?
Tim Walters. He lost it on the entry to pit lane as Glenn Ablard dives in. Through sunset, watch the back end. Porsche doing Porsche things at Sebring.
Yeah, I would have gone into pit lane. Is he going to go into pit lane? I would now go into pit lane and get them tyres off or whatever. I know. Oh, he didn't go into pit lane. Silly.
No.
I would have gone in and cleared some of that off and seen what I could do. But we've got Nathan Healy. He's got Kent, Walters, Sparrow and more all in and around him. There's 2, 4, 5 cars battling it out. There's a movement further back as well. Walters here is having a go over to Sparrow, and they're going to be running side by side.
And he's going to try and make the move. Oh, they swap paint. The briefest of moments as they're going through the Fangio chicane. Now the run to Cunningham corner. Sparrow's going to have the inside line, but there's a tap.
Oh, he's not even going to stop it. Oh, straight into the side of Mark Kent. Don't crash on a straight. What? Why? Why would you do that on a straight?
Okay, let's have a look at the replay. So it's the speed at which Mark
Walters, isn't it? It's that one. Sorry, I picked up the wrong.
So as I said, so we're gonna have a look at the replay here from the helicam. So bar is to the right, comes across. Clashes into Walters. Walters loses the back end, and now he's a passenger.
Full lock on the brake. Look.
Yeah, he's on the brakes. Pinball's off the wall. It fires it into the next corner. Bang! Straight away. There's nothing that the Merc can do, and there's even a glancing blow from Sparrow just afterwards as well.
Yeah, I would look at Sparrow coming in sideways there. I think that's going to be the issue. For me, you can see them running up here, and they go all the way to the right. Sparrow's coming across. He's coming across. He runs a little bit wide, but it's here now where he just comes straight over, keeps coming as well. If it stopped on the edge of the track, they would have just probably had a little bit of a door bang and they missed each other. But Walters here just absolutely comes in. Kent is just sat there not having a Scooby-Doo. What the blimey Nora is going to hit him. Bang! It's a juggernaut BMW straight into the side of him there. Nothing he could have done about that. That was just unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lengthy tow for Tim Walters. He's in the pits at the moment. Mark Kent, well, that car is going to be in there for a lengthy time. Might not even be the case that Mark Kent decides to restart. I mean, the car's already been on its marks in the pit garage for a minute and a half. And that just goes to show one wrong move here at Sebring. It's an old school circuit. And that means there is nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. The walls are very close, especially what we just saw there going into Cunningham Corner and Collier Curve. And it was at Cunningham Corner where the big accident happened just as they came out of the Fangio chicane. It was just at high speed. You're talking 120 miles an hour plus, and they were still more than likely accelerating up the gears as we concentrate on what's happening at the front. Harry Gaylor in the second highest placed Lamborghini is starting to try and catch Harry Hartley-Price, and Matt Hoyland rounds out the top 3 overall. At the minute, in terms of the AM classification, it's James Moore ahead of Daniel Poole and Jay Rooney. They're covered by 2.2 seconds in the battle for the top 3. Rooney is starting to close in on Poole for that second position, with Chris Haynes. Rooney and Haynes and Lopez have all made up 10 positions, and that is mainly because of the fact of the dramas that have basically been showcased. And Jared Love says, I feel bad for Ken, racing incident with the fault more towards the Mustang for squeezing so much. Thank you for your input there, Mr. Jared Love. And Motormouth Broadcasting says, James,
I've seen it, it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I have sorted it out.
No. Well, not even 15 minutes in and there have been multiple dramas. There's going to be a lot of ears burning post-race in terms of the discussion behind the scenes on the Discord, but well, I did say fireworks were going to happen and we've certainly had them here, JP, tonight.
Yeah, we certainly have, and it's not over, is it? Gayler's tucked in behind Hartley Price at the moment. We've got Sam Berry, who's tucked up right behind the Battle of the Mustangs with Tim Cullimore here. This is going to continue on. And Sparrow has got Nathan Healy in front of him. We've also got down into the with Chris Haynes, Mike Waters, Joseph Lopez, Harry Seven, and Sean Clark are all fighting out at the same time. Sergio Cabral not too far in behind that. So lots of action all the way through this field currently, but Hartley Price still tucked in behind Harry Gayler here.
Yeah, so Hartley Price being chased down through Sunset Bend, the Lamborghini using a wider sweep through the final couple of corners through turns 15 to 17, and could get the run. We're talking 4-litre flat 6 boxer engine versus mid-mounted 5.2 naturally aspirated V10, and with them coming along is the other Porsche. So Harry Gayler is the Lamborghini meets in a Porsche sandwich at the moment, so that is John McLuhan trying to close on in, and here comes a possible move here. Berry on Cullimore through at turn 3. They are running wheel to wheel, and Sam Berry in the pink Mustang gets through. Great move there by the 129, and he's decided for I like that. He's got Durex on the bonnet and then got fresh rubber on the door card panels. Talk about tongue-in-cheek livery on that one. Brilliant.
Mr. Goldschmidt, you're supposed to pick up on things like that. But you are right. It is quite amusing, and I do find it quite
It is quite amusing. I mean, the thing is, with these leagues, there is a little bit of creative libel at some point, or creative ingenuity. But that's but the colour itself just makes the car stand out anyway. I mean, would you ever see a Ford Mustang in the colour pink on a race car? Not in this day and age, but you will see it in the world of sim racing.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see James Moore here leading the AMS at the moment in that BMW. He's got 1.9 to Daniel Paul in the Porsche. Jake Rooney in that BM as well. It's looking rather sexy. Harry Seven in the McLaren with Chris Haynes and Joseph Lopez tucked in right behind there. And it's Rexy versus the scruffy Dashhound as they're continuing to fight out, coming up through the right-hander now of Tower. They're going to fly down Flying Fortress into Bishop here and then into Gender Beam and Le Mans. It's going to be a great run if Lopez can get this here. Is he going to be able to stay close enough? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, if you can get a nice exit out of Le Mans curve, which is coming up very, very shortly. He's about a car length and a bit behind. And of course the McLaren 720S GT3, known when it first came out as the Torque Monster, having about 700 pounds-feet of torque from that twin-turbo 4-litre V8, but he's got Mike Waters right on his case in the Acura. Oh, he tries to look for a lunge. That was brave from Mike Walters. Oh, and Chris Haynes goes wide out of the final corner. He's going to lose 2 places at the very least. Lopez is through, Walters is through, Rexy trying to fight back, and that's a bit of a shame. Down to 6th from 4th, as you're going to see it again.
I think he hit the wall, didn't he?
He got very, very close. He got very, very close. He just about made it through by the skin of Rexy's teeth, part of the part, but he did very, very well to keep that car where it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job. It could have been the wall. It could have been the tyre barrier out there. There's a lot of things that they could have hit. Lopez has now got Mike Waters tucked in right behind him here. Coming down into the hairpin. He's going to hit him. Oh, the damage is done. Zoomies is round. Told you it's going to hit him.
And Son of a Borough Racing strikes at the least optimum moment. very suboptimal there for Joseph Lopez. Yeah, straight in and the back of the McLaren sideways.
Yeah.
And is that a corgi on the
Yes.
top with the Biggles helmet on it as well?
Yeah,
That's
there
brilliant.
There is. I think that there is as well.
I'm sorry, that is my favourite livery so far.
Yeah, it does look good.
So far.
But he's coming back here. They're all going in a little bit of a ding-dong at the moment. Haynes is there. Lopez is there. Walters is in this. Sergio Cabral's there as well. Lots of action. Cabral in that pink BMW, managing to hold on. Rexy in behind. Zumi's in behind that. Then you got Mike Walters, son of a bro, behind that with Tim Walters. Both in different liveries there. I would have liked to see them in the same livery. I think they might have looked absolutely awesome running the same livery there. But look at Chris Haynes at the moment, tucked in right behind.
Yeah, here comes Rexy charging forwards towards Sergio Cabral from Portugal. As they come through Sunset Bend, we're on lap 10 now as Chris Haynes dives to the inside. Cabral didn't really fight that too much. He just went a little bit too wide on the exit of the corner, but now he's going to get the run down the start-finish straight into the sweeper here at turn number 1. Cabral goes deep, tight to the wall, right on the rear of Chris Haynes. And here comes Joseph Lopez saying, well, two's company, guys, but 3 makes a crowd. And now it's become a bit of a peloton, and Christopher Haynes has become the proverbial cork in this bottle, so to speak.
Yeah, and 4 makes it a party as they carry on here. Mike Walters, Lopez in front of us at the moment, Cabral in there, Haynes in there. Let's hope they all manage to get this stopped and we don't have a repeat of the last lap. Tim Walters is behind Mike. He's actually alongside Mike, watching the right-hand corner. There he goes, sweeping through, son of a bro, racing. There's clearly one of them's which way round. That's going to be the question, isn't it? Because I know full well I'm going to get this round the wrong way, right? It's going to be one or the other, isn't it? One's a father, one's a son, or one's a son and one's a brother.
Yeah. We'll just say that the Walters family are virtually at loggerheads out on track. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, can you imagine Christmas if they crash into each other? Oh.
Yeah, be like, oh dear. Then someone will be giving someone else a thick ear, whoever that might be. But we'll leave that to have, if that does come to pass, we'll leave them to have the discussion between themselves and argue it out. But also, looking just behind, that's the 78 of Callum Milam, who didn't actually set a lap time in qualifying. He's up 8 spots from last position. Biggest losers, Glenn Abelard, Joe Sparrow now all the way down into 24th and 25th. Connor Pink 13 places down in 27th. Rob McKee, after that unfortunate moment where he lost it on his own coming out of Le Mans curve, and then got T-boned by Glenn Abelard. And then we got Tim Walters 14 places lost. Mark Kent all the way down in 30th, having started 16th. And Cabral trying to go on the offensive versus Haynes through turn 1. He's going to find an opportunity, a window, so to speak. But he could open the door. Well, let's see what Haynes does. He turns it in. He opens up the steering, gives Cabral the racing room. This could give the opportunity maybe for Lopez to spring a surprise in the McLaren very shortly. They're going to be coming up to the hairpin turn very, very soon at a big rate of speed. So it's going to be put it in a straight line, hard on the brakes, turn it in, then accelerates out of the corner. Lopez might go for a lunge on Cabral here. Cabral shuts the door. Haynes goes a little bit wide on the exit, tries to get the traction down in the 911, 992 GT3R, but Cabral is right with him, going through Fangio, into Cunningham, now into towards Collier. Cabral going round the outside, that's brave, it's going to give it the inside line, but Haynes has got just enough in front to cover it off, and then it's into the right-hander here at Tower Turn, and once again, Chris Haynes is putting on a brilliant defensive display. He's making the back end of that 911 GT3R as wide as possible. Oh dear, what's happened to Joseph Lopez?
I think the dash hounder's a bit back.
Oh, is he going to get a touch? Let's see. Yes, right rear gets tagged by Tim Walters. Second touch for Joseph Lopez. Put him on the back foot once again.
He's like a magnet at the moment as well, isn't it? But I do want to give Haynes and Cabral a massive well done, going in through turn 2, 3, 4, coming down into Gurney. You do not know how hard that is to run side by side. Then doing it again, coming through Cunningham and Collier. Absolutely amazing driving. Both drivers were on point with the amount of gap they left. They didn't leave much, but what they did leave was legal, and it was great from Cabral and Haynes there. Fair play to both of you. That was absolutely amazing, because that just could have gone. I've seen that in endurance series with 5K drivers. I've seen it in officials with 200 IR drivers, and it has gone wrong. So fair play to both of them for managing to get through there, because that is absolutely awesome.
That is the kind of racing action we do see here at Tanso, the Tanso Racing Group. Galebest and Clocks and James GT3 category is now. We've got the battle between Gaylor and Hartley Price, the Lamborghini right with the Porsche. Going through Collier, then it's the run through into Tower.
Oh, break it.
Oh,
He did.
Oh, Gaylor's, he touched the back of Hartley Price and he lost the back end.
Yeah, that was a break. Oh, poop, I really better brake. And unfortunately, the Lamborghini turned around and went, oh, mate, it don't matter how hard you brake, I ain't going to love it. And unfortunately for him, that is what happened there as well. So we'll just try and get an off-board shot there of him. Brake. You can see him, it's just panic. Because it's brake. Oh, I'm not loving it, don't brake me that hard. And the Lamborghini says no.
Yeah, the Lamborghini's back axle says, arrivederci traction right now.
Yeah, didn't love it at all there. But that's unfortunately for Harry, he's did the right thing to try and stop the accident, right? That's the thing. He did it by not stopping, by not wanting to hit the car in front. Unfortunately, not a lot of GT3s like that feathered braking, and then all of a sudden that slam, and it's like feather slam. No, don't like it. And they end up coming around in a circle. So unfortunately for him, but fair play for trying to at least stop hitting the car in front. I'll give you props for that. But yeah, unfortunately the car isn't loving it at the moment.
Yeah, it just goes to show the slightest incorrect movement at the wrong time, like you say, feathering that brake pedal or giving it too much on the loud pedal coming out of a corner, it can really start to give you problems. We're 25 minutes in, so just under 20 to go, and we are seeing pit stops. Drivers that have pitted so far: Connor Pink, Sergio Cabral, Tim Walters, Steve Trippier. That's Tim Walters in pro. Mark Wesley is Mark Kent has gone back into the pits for the second time. So has Rob McKee, and Rob McKee has been stationary for nearly 2 minutes, so that is going to be a bit of a drama for the 117 BMW M4. But at the minute, all the way down to Nathan Healy in 13th, plus Sean Clark, plus Mike and Tim Walters, and Joseph Lopez have yet to go in for their pit stop. So effectively, by putting a limit of 50% fuel capacity in the cars, as Michael Gray in the leading Corvette has now... Oh, no! We were talking about it and now it's finally happened. Oh,
bro. What are you doing?
They say that things come in threes, and for Joseph Lopez, that has happened.
Was that Mike and Tim hitting each other?
It was Tim into the back of Mike, I think.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, what? Talk about... the brakes! And then Joseph just Yeah,
I'm not sure about that second bit. I don't like the look of that second bit. I think
neither do I.
There's no reason for him to be turning. Let's have a look and see what his wheel does here. Whether or not this is... He's going to get punted regardless. Bang, he goes round. Then watch here. Is he turning away from him?
He was trying to turn left.
Yeah, there was I think they just kind of got Velcro together there, and unfortunately it just caused a bit of drama and didn't look overly tidy, shall we say, on that one. But there we go. Racing is racing, and unfortunately, Jesus, that is not how you enter. There was clearly no call of going into the pit lane there.
That was incorrect etiquette, let's say. And in the meantime, whilst the leading car, Michael Gray, who put on pole position, rejoins in 6th with Ben Altria in the Full Tilt Motorsports Acura NSX GT3 leading. Matt Hoyland in the number 11 Lamborghini by just over 2 seconds. Gene McLuhan in the 199, or Jean McLuhan in the 199 Porsche rounds out the top 3. Andy White leading the way for Audi as Altria comes into pit lane. So does Hoyland. I would imagine that McLuhan, White, et al. Will do the same. Yes, there's a bit of a car park train happening. White has come in. What about Cullimore? Is he going to pull that Mustang into pit lane? Yes, he does. So Harry Seven and Sean Clark, well, Harry 7's made up 16 spots at the moment from 23rd on the grid. Good work by the 123 McLaren.
Let's watch Michael Gray here. He's going to retake the lead, I think.
Yep.
Altria's on his way out. Yeah, Gray's going to get him. That pitted that 1 lap, lap 13. And he has gone straight back into front. Altria has come out in behind him. And then Hartley Price, how far up is he going to get? Is he going to get Jean? Gene?
No.
I'm not quite sure which way around that would be. Gene, I think. And unfortunately for Hartley Price in 5th place. Gaylor recovering back to 6th at the moment, so great job from him.
Yeah, and so everyone has now pitted, including Harry Seven and Sean Clark. Which means Peter Duke in the 177 Acura still rounding out the top 10, but Harry Hartley Price, I think it might be Sean McLuhan.
Gene? We'll he's American, and only Gene, aren't they?
Well, or it could be if there's a French influence with that first name, because that's basically the
could
French
be Jean.
Job.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're going to see how well Harry Gaylor in the 111 Full Tilt Motorsports Lamborghini gets on. He's 1.9 seconds behind. Mr. Pink is back in the Golf McLaren for his 2nd trip in the pit lane, but this is a mandated stop rather than like the earlier one. 14.12 seconds for Connor, so he's probably going to rejoin just outside of the top 25, but yeah, things are getting a little bit closer between Hoyland, McLuhan and Hartley Price. Less than a second covers those 3 battling over the final position in the top 3 in the pro class. In the meantime, Jay Rooney started 26th, and even with the pit stop is ahead of James Moore and Daniel Poole, but that is the top 3 battle for the AM class victory. They're covered by about 1.5 seconds as we head into the last 14 minutes plus change. And this is one of the good things we love about these pit stops here, JP, is the fact that it does change the pecking order, so to speak, on how long you want to stay in the pits. Well, Glenn Ablard, he was out of the last run of pit stops, he was the only driver in single digits. He's been in the pits twice. That was a 9.13 second pit stop, not including transit time from pit entrance to pit exit, and he's currently running on what's he running in? Low 2-minute ones at the minute. But Michael Gray has just put in on lap 15 the fastest lap of the race, a 1:59.35. That Corvette is firing on all cylinders at the moment, and he's got nearly a 4-second gap ahead of the Acura of Ben Altria at the minute.
Yeah. Gray running away at this moment in time, isn't he? Come out in front of the pit lane. They're sort of swapping in and out here with Gene McLuhan and Matt Hoyland. The gaps have been fluctuating again with Hartley Price in behind it. Gaylor's just not quite able to get onto the back of him at the moment, but he's trying as much as he can here in that Lamborghini. 12.5, well, just gone under 13 minutes remaining. So they're going to get about another 6 laps possibly. Where is the leader? Yeah, maybe 6 laps here before the time runs out at 2 minutes per lap. 2 times 6 is 12. 7 laps at the most here. But Moore is having a proper little argument going on down here. And that's Jay Rooney leading of the AMs.
So, there we go. It is a BMW 1-2 meritocracy. I like the in the livery on Jay Rooney's car. It's like it's a bit of a hot. It's a bit like an inverted refreshers lolly, if you will. Like bright colours. Mosasaur Motors in the number 44, and well, there is Daniel Paul in the number 82 Porsche just behind. So yeah, it's going to be between Munich and Weissach for the win in the GT3 AM classification, but then it's Corvette, Acura and Lamborghini battling over top honours, but they're 10 seconds apart of the 11 seconds apart of the top three. But there could be a couple of Porsches that will spoil the party if Hoyland does not keep that Lamborghini in front in third place overall. Just under 11.5 minutes to go. Daniel Poole versus Jay Rooney into turn one. The Porsche sweeps wide to the outside as Rooney stays tight to the wall. That's always a good sign of the strength of the Porsche, that it's able to keep the momentum round corners, especially that fast left-hand sweep here at turn one. And Rooney has got to not stumble over the next 11 minutes to make sure that he ensures a BMW 1-2 finish in the AM classification by the checkered flag.
Yeah, and I think it will be, but it depends on which way round it's going to be. Moore, of course, has been leading a lot of this. Rooney's in there, trying to come back at him. Paul is in there in the Porsche. So this AM fight is very, very consistent with everybody around doing the same thing in lap times. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes over this season and whether or not there are some changes halfway through. I don't think it really, looking at this first race, nobody really needs to be promoted or demoted or anything like that. I think a couple have had bad races, but I think overall the selection of where they are in classes, Alex, it kind of works really well. Yeah,
and majority of the grid being of the pro variety. Rob McKee, well, did call time on the race on. He was in the pits for 10 minutes and 43 seconds, but Rob McKee in the 117 BMW, who started 18th, still running last, is quite a few laps. He's 5 laps off of our, 6 laps off the leader. But it still means that he will score, if it's 19th, that will still be 2 points that he'll score. So getting the points on the board in the championship is going to be helpful, as here comes Daniel Poole right up close to Jay Rooney. Rooney goes a little bit wide out of the final corner, nearly tangles with the wall with the right rear, the left rear, and Paul is just trying to do everything he can. He's going to sweep to the right end. Oh, how close do you want to be to the pit lane wall there, Sunshine? And he's going to try again, but he needs to be a little bit closer to Jay Rooney to make that opportunity work.
Yeah, he needs to come in off the wall. There is a little angled bit of the wall. He needs to turn in and lift at that point and let the car run in. And then once you reach halfway round the corner, you can then accelerate to get the car back in. He's just not quite got the lift off at the moment in the turning point. It's just before the kink. There is a little kink on the wall, and it's just before that. I don't know if Mike Walters will give us a good old representation here of where it is. If he's going to come over to the right hand side, no, he's going to go pit lane. That is just absolutely typical. Let's see if we can find it on Michael Gray. Watch the wall on the right. He's going to come over to the right hand side now, and you'll see there's just that little kink on the wall. Not this first one, just there. And that's where you turn in. Then you let it go. Then he's on the throttle again. So you use the first kink as the kink as a turning point, and then you use the throttle on the way round it. So you let it run, throttle, off you go, and then you let it drift out wide, and that's what they've done, and a great job from there as well. But he's just got to make sure Paul is doing the same thing. He's just not quite got that early enough.
Yeah, I think it's just over the course of the race, it's dependent on how big your confidence level is, as Gaylor is now closed in on Hartley Price, McLuhan and Hoyland, so a quartet battling over the final podium spot in the pro classification with 7.5 minutes remaining. Glenn Ablard has ended up in the pits. So, wondering if that might have been for possible track. Well, it didn't seem many off tracks for Glenn, but yeah, that would have been for more fuel. I mean, I did say about his first stop, he was only in there for his stop, which was 9.13 seconds. He's just put in about another 10 seconds worth of fuel into that car. So he kind of knew, well, that was going to be it and game over. Tim Walters in the Pro Class, the 155 BMW, looks to be in pit lane again, and that is going to drop him down the order significantly. It's put him outside of the top 25. His first pit stop was 22.3 seconds. Now, obviously, he did have dramas, let's not forget, early stages of the race. So for Tim Walters, yep, another 10 seconds in the pits. But yeah, that's just a little bit of a shame. Harry Gaylor's now been running consistently in the high 1 minute 59.7s in the Lamborghini, and he's right with Hartley Price. Look, oh, he just glanced the wall. He was very, very lucky. Was Harry Gaylor. He nearly could have spun that car around if there was an even bigger impact coming out of Sunset.
He's got to be careful there. Got to be careful, because Sunset is a difficult corner if you start catching all the bumps, and he's got to just make sure that he can get it round there as well. You've got to. Sunset is one of them corners where you've got to do the same thing lap after lap, because the track changes so much as it goes on that across from the wall to the outside, it's something different every lap at every point. You know, you can be a millimetre to the left of where you normally hit, and it feels completely different to the place where you normally are. It's all about consistency. At Sunset, at turn 1, they've got to make sure they've got to get them right.
Yeah, and he's got the he's got the nighttime lights on. It's in the big spotlights underneath the bonnet on that car, which says a sign of intent to Harry Hartley Price, saying, okay, Harry, it's ding ding, seconds out, round 2. And this battle is really closing up for third place. And it's not even, well, it's just around about 1.1 seconds, covering 3rd to 6th at the minute as they go through Genderbeen and into Le Mans. And it's going to be this long run down the Ullman Straight. Good. That was a good run out of that corner by Gaylor, as he's getting a double toe from Hartley Price. McLuhan gets through on Hoyland on pure slipstream. They're going to be side by side into Sunset. Little bit of a paint swap. Hartley Price dives to the inside as well on Hoyland. This could be very, very much nip and tuck. Hoyland could be hung out to dry on the outside. And here comes Gaylor as well with a big run of speed. They've got the number 30 in front of them. That's Steve Trippier. And into turn 1, Hartley Price to the inside of Hoyland, can't get through. Whereas McLuhan now up into P3.
Stop.
Right.
Oh, Steve Trippier. Let him go. Let him go.
He's got to do it now.
Yeah.
He's got to pull to the left. Oh, and McLuhan goes rally crossing a la Joker lap. Trippier did have to keep out of the way, but that's put Hoyland right on towards the outside of McLuhan. Hartley Price could dive to the inside here at the hairpin, and he might just about make it work, but he's got Gaylor right on his rear bumper. Going through Fangio, now into Cunningham, and Harry Gaylor right on the rear wing of Harry Hartley Price. Nearly thought of a move. Hoyland nearly into the back of McLuhan as they go through into Collier Curve. Then it's the right-hander coming up of Tower Turn. And Jean McLuhan holding on at the moment for P3. Hartley Price late on the brakes into Tower Turn. Nearly harpoons into the back of Hoyland, but manages to get on the brakes in time. Now through Bishop Bend into Genderbeen. Then into Le Mans. And well, it's flat 6 boxer versus naturally aspirated 90-degree V10 power. Porsche versus Lamborghini versus Porsche versus Lamborghini. And they are line astern. As our leader, Michael Gray, will start the penultimate lap of this race.
Oh, it's going to be one more, Alex.
Yep, 23 laps will be the total. As, McLuhan goes to the right-hand side, right to the pit wall. Hoyland, Hartley Price and Gaylor follow suit in the wheel tracks into turn one. Who's going to be brave and try and pull it either to the inside or the outside? No one plays their full card set yet at the moment, but both Lamborghinis from Full Tilt Motorsport have the fog lights ablaze on their particular Hurricanes. And McLuhan just soaking the pressure up like a sponge. Hartley Price has been very much in the mix, and so is Gaylor, who's come back from disaster earlier on and might be in with a chance of a top 3 finish overall as we head into the final 90 seconds, into the hairpin once again. This is where things get close because it's the speed differential between the flat 6 boxer engine of the Porsches, and then you've got that naturally aspirated grunt of those mid-mounted V10s that really start to equalise it in some respects. But McLuhan has started to see a little bit of daylight.
Yeah, he's got a little line on the horizon. That's it. Of daylight, because they're going to come back at him. Going in now, they'll come all the way through Genderbeen and Le Mans. The first pull will be the Ullman. Second pull will be down into turn 1 across the start-finish line. So that Lamborghini at the moment needs to really come and get as close as he possibly can here. Coming through Le Mans now, Matt Hoyland in that Lamborghini, the Porsche Lambo, and he just needs that little bit of tug. He's coming down 7/10. He's going a little bit of the wrong way. Who'd have thought the Porsche would actually have speed here? Is a bit of a shock because we know its top speed is absolutely rubbish, but now it's coming down 6.6, 6.5. He got him at the end. Hartley Price is closing in, going through sunset now. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a run. He's going to tap. Oh!
That was a glance. That was a glancing blow from Matt Hoyland in the Lamborghini, and that has put him 6 and a bit, 7/10 behind Jean McLuhan. But Michael Gray has led every single lap since we went lights out. The timer has now hit 0, 45 minutes at an end, and what a job by the Corvette on home soil. Michael Gray in the 118 Chevy Corvette C8R has been absolutely mighty around home soil. There he is in the Full Tilt Motorsport Corvette, and only 2 seconds separates him and Ben Altria in the 504 Acura NSX GT3. Let's just stick with our race leader. He hasn't really featured much apart from the beginning. You can see the quartet warring in the background, and it's getting ever closer. Hoyland within 6/10 of McLuhan, Hartley Price within half a second of Hoyland, Gaylor about 3.5 tenths behind Hartley Price. But it is going to be a lights out to checkered flag victory, and after just over 45 minutes of racing, Michael Gray from Full Tilt Motorsport in the 118 Chevy Corvette is going to make his way down the Ullman Straight for the 23rd and final time. He's going to probably get past Connor Pink, who's kept it nice and clean to the right-hand side of the Ullman Straight. But one more corner through the bumpy, undulating Sunset Bend. Your opening winner of the season here for Tanso Racing, Galebest and Clark St James. It's Michael Gray in the Corvette. He wins after 23 laps by 3 seconds, and John McLuhan is going to hang on to that 3rd place. Will it be a run to the line between Hartley Price and Hoyland? The Lamborghini has the edge on the Porsche as they ran out 4th and 5th. It's going to be Stephen Donnelly versus Andy White. Andy White, who was in the Mustang last season, switches to Audi, crosses the line in 8th behind Donnelly. And, in the meantime, what a run it's been. James Moore started 17th in the AM classification, 17th overall, and the Upshift Esports BMW M4 is going to become the first winner of the AM classification and will score 40 points. 34 for second. But what a run by James Moore. The upshift Esports BMW M4 out of the final corner. James Moore victorious here at Sebring International Raceway.
Yeah, straight over the line. Great job in the AMs there for Moore. Paul coming in second place. Rooney's going to be in behind that in third. And Sean Clark comes over in fourth. A great run from them guys coming over the line round the final corner. You've just got to make one more, mate. One more. Come on, son. There you go. Sean Clark comes over in fourth. Great run from all of these. And yeah, stunning race from all of them, I think. Cabral's having a good old little ding-dong towards the end of the line as well. Sergio Cabral and Sam Barry. Barry grabs it from Cabral. Chris Haynes comes over the line. Tim Walters, who's had his fair share of incidents. And Joseph Lopez, who has unfortunately been in them incidents. So, you know, lots going on there. I think Alex has forgot to unmute himself again.
Hang on. No, I haven't. I was just taking a breath. Hang on a second. Right, here's your results. Michael Gray wins from Ben Altria and John McLuhan, who ran at the top three in the Pro, ahead of Matt Hoyland, Harry Hartley-Price, Harry Gaylor, Stephen Donnelly, Andy White, Tim Cullimore, rounding out your top 9, with Peter Duke completing the top 10. Joe Sparrow, Harry Seven rounds out the next couple of drivers, rounding out the top 12. James Moore for Upshift Esports wins in AM for the first time this season, 13th overall, ahead of Nathan Healy and Glenn Ablard, who ran at the top 15. Daniel Poole, Jay Rooney, Sean Clark, Callum Milam, and Sam Berry round out the top 20. Sergio Cabral, Chris Haynes, Tim Walters, Joseph Lopez, Connor Pink, the other Tim Walters in Pro, rounds out 26th ahead of Steve Trippier, Mike Walters, Mark Kent, Rob McKee, and Mark Wesley. And those are your provisional classified finishers. Of course, all results are provisional pending any discussions post-race, and we will leave that between everyone in the Discord to discuss it with the race stewards. But we do have a post-race interview show, and, well, I think, let's see. Yes, we do have our overall race winner. Let's bring him in. Corvette shines under the Sebring sunshine. So let's see if we can bring in Mr. Michael Gray. Hang on a second, I'll just drag him up.
Can you go? There you
go. Michael.
Hello.
You're in the booth. Congratulations. Pole position, lights out to checkered victory as Corvette wins on home soil, and you pick up the win for Full Tilt Motorsport. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty happy. I've never done this league before, so a lot of new faces. So I didn't quite know what to expect, to be honest. But yeah, I was happy with that drive. A couple of mistakes at the end, but yeah, no, not too bad.
Well, even with a couple of mistakes, you still won the race by just over 3 seconds after 23 laps. But yeah, I mean, it was just all about just keeping your nose clean, wasn't it? In the early phase of the race, get a good pit stop, and then get out and just bring the car home. And as they say, to finish first use finish, and that's exactly what you've done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I knew Ben would be a bit of a challenge because obviously he's a teammate and he is pretty quick. But once I got that gap to about 2.5, 3 seconds, it was kind of, just ease off a bit. But my fuel calculator was messing a bit. It kept saying there was going to go an extra lap. So it was saying I needed to pit again. So that's why the gap came down near the end. But no, yeah, pretty good first outing.
Yeah. And then next week, on the 26th, we go to Imola. That could be another good circuit for the Corvette. Do you think? Nice long straights, some good technical corners to get your teeth into.
Yeah, hopefully. It's the first time I've ever done a race in this car, so I did a bit of practice during the week. Just seemed to get on with that better than most of the others. So yeah, and I like Imola as well. So we'll see how that goes.
Brilliant. Michael, thanks for chatting to us in the post-race interview show. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening?
Yeah, everyone at Full Tilt Motorsport and the admins who have put this league together. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Michael. Well done on the win, and we'll see you next week at Imola for round 2.
Yep. See you later.
So A big thank you there from Michael McGray. Let's bring in the runner-up from the pro category. And funny enough, it's his Full Tilt Motorsports teammate, Ben Tria joins us. Ben,
Hello.
how's it going? I mean, good run. You know, it's a 1-2 for the team, 2 different cars, Michael in the Corvette, you in the Acura. Pretty good way to start the season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it couldn't have gone much better, I think. Two of us qualified quite well and just ran away at the front of the field, really. I had a good bit of back and forth with Matt. He was catch a 10th, drop a 10th, and slowly I would build a gap, and then I'd make a mistake somewhere, and he'd pull some of it back. It was a good race.
Yeah, I mean, at least the good thing is the handling properties of the Acura stands itself in good stead. But when you're against somebody in a Lamborghini, it's not an easy one to counter, is it?
Yeah, the Lambo has its strengths, that's for sure. I think the Acura probably was the better car at Sebring, at least. I don't know about the rest of the calendar, but I think the Acura held its hands up at Sebring, and that was the best car here. But we'll see.
Next week we go to Imola for round 2. How do you fancy your chances there? A little bit more technicality involved, as well as a bit of high-speed tomfoolery thrown in the mix for good measure.
Yeah, I quite enjoy Imola, so it should be good in the Acura as well. So I'm looking forward to that one, actually.
Brilliant. Well, Ben, thanks for having a quick chat with us post-race. Anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to before we let you go and enjoy your evening?
Just the rest of the boys at Full Tilt. Good bunch of lads.
Brilliant. Ben, well done on your second place finish, and we'll see you next week for round 2 at Imola.
Thank you.
Right, so big thank you to Ben. We'll now bring in our final driver in the top 3, running in the 199 Porsche. Jean McLuhan joins us. Jean, that was a pretty hard fight in the last few laps, but you managed to get the best of the rest, get the best job done out of the 3 behind you, with Matt Hoyland, Harry Hartley-Price, and Harry Gaylord chasing you down.
Yeah, hats off to Matt and Harry. They put in a great race. They drove very respectful. Everything was very clean, and really enjoyed that. Porsche's a tough car around here. Really didn't get the qualifying I wanted. As you guys see, there's a lot of cars on track, so it's kind of tough to find a spot. I had a rough start, but was able to pull back a few spots on track and really enjoyed that race there at the end. And hats off to those guys. That was really close, intense racing, and everyone handled it really well. And look forward to moving on to the next one.
Yeah, and plus also this being, in a way, a home circuit for you on the calendar. It's nice to have that familiarity, isn't it?
Yeah, most of these tracks, I think the gentlemen riding around at the front of this group are probably familiar with all of them. So it's a fixed league, so you got to pick your battles here and there, and finishing consistently is probably going to be more important than winning 2 or 3 races. It seems like the few guys up front are pretty exceptionally fast, so it'll be a good challenge, and I look forward to doing more of them and seeing how it all pans out.
Thoughts ahead of Imola next week for round 2? That's another testing circuit as well, especially for the Porsche.
Yep. Again, it's going to come down to qualifying. As you know, and we saw last in F1, it's a tough place to pass. And if you get a bad qualifying, you get jammed up, you get yourself into like a lot of battles and traffic, and your race could go really sideways. So I think a lot of these races are going to come down to managing traffic and getting in a qualifying lap so you can kind of be where you relatively belong in the pack. So we'll see how it goes. Everyone does a pretty good job of staying out of the way in qualifying. Some guys probably need to leave a little more room and maybe not try to pass everybody and bunch up. But I think as we keep going, we'll learn more, and look forward to seeing you all next week, and hopefully I can repeat and say hello again.
Brilliant. Well, Jean, thank you very much for your time, for speaking to us in the post-race interview show. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your afternoon?
I'll give a shout out to my wife for letting me do this stuff back in the States on daylight time, and thanks for you guys for having me on. It's a great broadcast, and I really enjoy watching it. You have a good week, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, Jean McLuhan, our final driver in the top 3. Well done. We'll see you next week at Imola for round 2. Right, so from Pro, we move to AM, and our winner the number 17 from Upshift Esports in the BMW
Face
M4.
off.
James Moore, you are live on air. Good evening. Congratulations.
Thank you very
First
much,
blood
Alex.
to you.
Say that again, sorry, mate.
First blood to you in season 7.
Yeah, my first time with Tanso, and it seems to be beginner's luck, I think. But we'll see how the rest of the season pans out.
We've seen some really good battles, and I want to sort of take you back to sort of like earlier on in the race, because we had that great 3-way scrap between you, Jay Rooney, and Daniel Paul for the win in Am. It got really close at times, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was just speaking to Dan in the green room, and to be fair, he was saying how close it was. During the pit stops, it was a bit of a messy one, but no, it was a case of trying to hunt Jay down as quick as I could and pull away, really.
And that's exactly what you did. So you pick up a maximum score of 40 points, leading by 6 going into round 2 at Imola next week. What are your thoughts ahead of racing there in the BMW?
Well, Imola isn't one of my preferred tracks, I'll give it that, but neither Sebring. So, well, we'll just have to see how that goes.
Well, I like your realistic and optimistic thoughts ahead of round 2. But well done today on the win. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, my teammate Serge, he's been absolutely fantastic throughout all this. He's been pushing me more than ever, so it's been good. Everybody on stream, guys, it's been absolutely pleasure having you guys following me along with this. Yeah.
Well, James, I think we'll leave it at that. But congratulations to you and the team at Upshift Esports. We'll see you next week for round 2 at Imola. Well done tonight.
Alex, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, one more interview to go before we wrap things up. It wasn't quite the BMW 1-2, but Flatline Racing had Daniel Paul in the 82 Porsche there to capture second position. Daniel, welcome in. Congratulations, first of all, of second position. That puts you second in the AM standings going into round 2 next week at Imola. How are you feeling, first of all?
Just letting the adrenaline wear off. That was the closest race I've had, and closest to winning a race, but he just had too much up front. Jamie did. I couldn't catch him, and then I made a slight error at the end under pressure. But no, same as Jay. I feel sorry for Jay. He spun it on the corner. I thought it was going to be a battle to the end, but no, they both drove brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, we were just having a chat with James, who won the race tonight. I mean, at some points it was really, really close between the three of you. Like literally, there was at some points not even a second between you three. It really, really got very close, but it was good, good professional racing out there by the three of you, I have to admit, and that's what we like to see.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. The pit stops, I don't know, I got a bit confused with the pit stops. I was closer to Jamie when he came out. I thought, I don't know what's going on here. And then obviously I saw Jay that was in front of both of us, and I thought, I don't know how that's happened. But no, I think it was clean racing all round, to be honest. I did get lucky to get in that position because there was a few accidents earlier in the race.
Yeah, there were a few pinball wizardry and Skittles accidents that we were having in the opening 2 to 5 laps. But well done for taking second place tonight. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just Mr. Sean Clark. We've had some close battles in ESR racing, and just being accepted into this league, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Well done on the second position, Daniel, and we'll see you next week for round 2 at Imola.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Well, great to hear from our drivers on the podiums for both respective classes, James. But, well, season 7 here at Sebring. I mean, great track, a bumper grid of over 30 cars, and wall-to-wall action.
Yeah.
Roll on round 2, I say.
No, mate, absolutely. I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be an absolute banger season. And as you say, round 2 is just going to probably be an absolute classic. I think there's so much positive to take out of this that you can literally sit there and think, This is just going to be absolutely amazing. If we can retain numbers all the way through, then I think we're in for an absolute banger.
Yeah, well, that really ends our live broadcast here on the JP Broadcasting Network of the Galebest and Clark St James GT3 Season 7. Round 1 at Sebring in the books. We head to Imola next week in just 7 days' time. But for those that have already been watching along with us, there's plenty of racing action to keep you entertained. We've got FDL Player 1, SimGear SFL Championship Round 7 at Mugello. Hang on a second. Let me just look at my watch. Tomorrow morning at about 10:30 UK time. We've got the Sports Car Association Americas. They're going to round 8 at the Nürburgring Thursday morning UK time. We've got the J2 ICS Sprint Series round 8 at Alton Park. League Zero Super Formula. We've got the Champion Sim Racing Virtual World Sports Car Championship, I think, at some point. We've got IGP Fun. We've got so much else. So, folks, we'll see you in 7 days' time for round 2 of the Galebest and Clark St James GT3 Season 7. And until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, you better go flat out. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.